Welcome to Test Room, your go-to hub for professional knowledge sharing.
In couple of previous videos, we explored various aspects of using robot framework with Selenium, including the locator strategies, wait strategies, and the interaction with web elements. From very simple interactions to an advanced interactions. Along the way, we also had a hands-on session where we automated several scenarios to reinforce our learning. In this video, we focus on how to organize the scripts and keywords more efficiently by using design patterns. By adopting these design practices, we will not only make our scripts easier to maintain, but also enhance their scalability for adapting to the larger projects. Let us try to understand what is design pattern. Design pattern is a solution to a common problem in a software design. So you will have to highlight a keyword called reusable. Okay, it is a reusable solution to a common problem in a software design. Okay, it serves as a template or a blueprint for solving the reoccurring challenges. Okay, if there is a common challenge across the projects, then the design pattern helps you to provide a kind of a standard solution. Okay, it serves as a template or a blueprint for solving recurring challenges in a systematic and efficient way rather than reinventing the wheel every time. You need not have to reinvent a wheel every time. That means you need not have to find a solution every time. There is a standardized solution that you can use off the shelf. The key features of design pattern include reusability. You can use the same solution across the different problem. That basically saves your time and effort. Scalability helps to create a software that can be easily maintainable and extendable. Best practices promote cleaner, more organized and efficient coding practices. Readability improve the code structure, making it easier for the teams to understand and collaborate. There are basically three types of design pattern that exist. Creational design pattern focuses on object creation, ensuring flexibility and reusability. Structural patterns deal with composition of classes or objects to form larger structures. And behavioral patterns focus on communication between objects and responsibility of each. So here we are basically talking about classes and objects, which will be a part of the OOPS concept, right? So the programming languages like Java, C#, Python, they support this object oriented programming, right? That supports OOPS concepts. So you will learn more when you try to program when you try to write a program or learn a programming language like Java, C# or Python. In robot framework, generally we don't use the classes and objects because we basically use the keywords to write our scripts. But still we can make use of a way to organize our test scripts in such a way that it can be readable, it can be maintainable, and it can be reusable, as well as it can be extendable. POM stands for Page Object Model. It is one of the commonly used design pattern for designing the test automation framework. It's a design pattern where each web page or a significant section of a web page in the application is represented as a class. Okay, so what we do, basically classes has an attributes which are called as variables, and there are functions which operates on this variable which are called as methods. In case of a page object model, we put the locators as well as the functions that operates using these locators with an element pertaining to a particular or a single web page or a related web pages in an application into a single class. Okay, which is called as a page object model. The action that can be performed on a page, like clicking a button, entering a text, are identified as a methods, and the locators are defined as a variables within a class. As I explained, the locators are stored as a variables, and the functions, we write the functions which are called as the methods that that uses the locator to operate on a web element in a web page. So in case of the programming language like Java or a C Sharp or a Python, if you're designing your test automation script, we put all these details into a class. But in case of a robot framework, such concept is not available. But still we can make use of page object model. We can put all these details into a single robot file. The benefits of page object model is promotes the reusability by separating the UI and the test logic. So for example, we are all the operations that we wanted to perform with an UI element, like interacting with the UI element. For example, if a page contains if a page is a login page and it contains the username and password, all the operations like entering the username, entering the password, and clicking the login button will be performed within one robot file. Okay, we will be calling this keyword from our test script, so that in that way we will be keeping the test scripts and the generic keywords, that is the generic keywords which basically contains the logic to perform the login is in a separate, so that it makes your script more readable and maintainable. So it makes your script easier to maintain, as the changes to the locators only require the update in one place. Okay, this is how we can increase the readability, increase the maintainability, as well as the scalability. So let us go and try this. We'll go and try to automate the sample Trisantis application, which is an vehicle insurance application, and while automating the couple of screens, we will try to adapt the page object model. I will show you how to adapt the page object model. This will be the proposed folder structure in order to achieve the page object model in automating the vehicle insurance application using robot framework. Let us go to each folder by folder and understand what each folder contains. The project configuration folder contains a set of files that stores the critical application settings or configurations, which includes the application URL, application credentials, the browser type used for automation, and etc. The example files could be config.json or an environment.properties, but most probably these files will be used in conjunction when you are trying to automate using Java or C# as a programming language. But since we are using robot framework, we will use config.robot file. We will always use robot files to store the application configurations. Business logic is the core folder that implements page object model for each application page. It basically contains a list of locators defining the elements on the pages, example buttons, input fields, etc. And also it provides the methods or keywords or the actions to interact with these locators. Okay, the content of the business logic folder could be something like this. It will have a login page which carries all the details in order to perform the login operations. Like it contains the locators to identifying the username field, password field, and pressing the login button. Okay. Along with that, it also contains the function that basically performs the login operation. Similarly, dashboard page.robot or a profile page.robot, etc. Basically, it implements the business logic. It implements the business logic that helps the user to automate the end-to-end journey for a given application. Coming to the utilities, which contain a reusable functions like logging, handling the screenshot, waiting strategies, or some kind of a common operations that you can perform with the applications. Okay, this is not only limited to the application under test. Maybe you can spread this utility across the different application that your organization maintains. For example, if your organization tend to use robot framework as a framework to automate the entire chain of applications, and then you can create an utility module which contains basically the common utilities that can be used across the different applications under test. Then you have a test cases that stores the test scripts categorized by the functionalities or model. For example, for performing a login, you can have a login script, and verifying the content of a dashboard, you can have the dashboard scripts and things like that. It also includes an initialization script that is basically used for the setting up and tear down operation. We will also see in our, while we are trying to implement the page object model for an vehicle insurance application, we will try to see that as well. And then the browser driver initialization and things like that, right? So the test cases, typically the test case structure will look like this. It always starts with the init file, which stores the initial configuration that is needed for the setup and tear down. Then you have the scripts that perform the login operation. You have the scripts to verify the profiles and things like that. The test data, which contain an external test data mainly used for data driven testing. Okay, so you can store the test data in different formats, like maybe in the format of JSONs. In case if you are doing an API automation where you need a request in the form of a JSON, then you can store all the requests as an JSON files, or you can store the all your inputs in terms of CSV file or an Excel file and things like that, mainly used for data driven testing. Example could be login data.csv, profile update.json and things like that. Using these proposed the folder structure, we can organize your test in a better way so that it can increase the readability, then maintainability and scalability. Now let us start populating the robot file one by one. Let us basically go to the project configuration folder, and here we will create a new file called as config.robot. So let us create a different section for this. So we will have a setting section in case if you are trying to import any kind of libraries. In case if you are not using it, doesn't matter, we can keep it like this. So variable section is very important one, because we are trying to carry the configurations which will be stored as part of the variables, and under the variable we can create an URL like application URL. This is our application URL, and then we have the browser type. So for this automation we will hard code it as an edge. We will use it as an edge browser. Okay, so these are the two configuration for a time being I need. In case I need more, I can go and add it. Okay, now let us go to the test scripts folder, and under the test script we will create an initialization file. You know, always the initialization file should be underscore then init underscore robot file. Always it should be init.robot. So here we have an setting section, then we will have an variable section in case we need. Okay, as I told, this particular file we will be using for tear down and setup. Let us try to use the keyword for setup. Then I have to give a function that performs the setup operation. Okay, so I will give perform setup operation as my keyword operation, and I have to implement this under the keyword, under the keyword section. So I will have to have keyword like this, and I will have to have a body. Let us, for the time being, let us give a body as performing the setup suit setup. And similarly we will also have suit tear down, suit tear down. Again I can give it as perform tear down operation, right? I will take this and I will copy paste here, then I will give a log message performing suit tear down. Okay, generally in case of Selenium we will be launching the browser and navigating to our application URL during the setup operation, and we will be closing all the browser during the teardown operation. Let us go and do that. So in order to do that we will need to have a library. So we have to import a library which is called Selenium library. Using the Selenium library we can perform open browser, which basically needs browser URL that we have it in here. In order to bring that to here, so we will have to basically include that. This can be included using the resource file. So this will be at one folder above. It will be under project configuration folder. I will give project config, then I will give config.robo. So now I can use this variable here as an application URL. Then I can use the, if I go to the documentation, then it says the URL is this one, and again I have a browser type which is stored in my configuration. I'll take the browser type from here. During the teardown I will close all the browsers, right? I will try to close all browsers. Okay, this is how basically the setup and teardown works, and if you need we can also do a maximizing the browser in this section. Maximize. So this is done, right? Let us go and add the business logic. Okay, in the home page you can see the 4 different types of vehicles, right? Automobile, truck, motorbike and camper. So you can get the vehicle insurance quotation from the companies for different types of vehicles. So when I click on automobile, here I will have to provide a certain detail about my vehicle. When you complete all the forms, there are I think 7-8 forms. When you complete all the forms, the quotation will be calculated and it will be given to you. So you can select a quotation for your car or for a truck, for a motorcycle or a camper. Okay, in this example what I am doing is I am trying to automate getting a quotation for the vehicle type as a car. So in order to do that I will have to go and click automobile and trying to fill the information about the vehicle, right? Different information about the vehicle in order to finally get a quote. Okay, let us try and do go and do this. So first I will go to home page, and the home page I have to go and identify the locator, that is now automobile, and then I'm going to PyCharm, and inside the business logic I will add a new robot file like selector or a home page. Okay, let us write it as a home page. So I can now automate all the operation related to home page here, right? So under which I can have a setting section, then I can have a variable section, then I have a keyword section, right? Okay, under the variable section I can vehicle type auto automobile. See, the locator is, it's an ID, right? Here we need to import Selenium library, because we are going to perform some operation using the Selenium library. So inside the keyword I will write a function select a vehicle type, okay, from home page. It can take two arguments. One is a vehicle type, which is a string dollar vehicle type, the value for this, and the vehicle type can be automobile, it can be a truck, it can be a motorcycle, or it can be a camper as shown in the home page. And another argument, yeah, so it is only one argument, right? It will take only one argument as a vehicle type, and based on that I will select it, right? So I have to implement a condition here. Let us try to implement the if condition. If the vehicle type equals to so it is automobile, then you have to, what you have to do, then you have to wait for that locator to visible, right? Then I have to do wait for element to visible, and the locator is automobile, vehicle automobile, right? So then Selenium library dot click element. So now this is how basically we are selecting an vehicle type. So we can also provide if else condition, or I can put this again. If the vehicle type is, for example, I am just doing for an example here. For example, it is a truck, then it is now truck. So copy from here and I can put it as a truck, then vehicle type equal to truck, then I can use this one. So for the time being I am only doing it for two vehicles, but I will be using only for automobile. So what I can do, I can go to my test script and I can add a test case to select a vehicle as an automobile. Okay, so let us go to our test script. And I can add a file. I can add a test case as test case get code for auto mobile dot robot. Okay, here again I can put settings if it is needed. I can put next I can put test cases, and my test case is get code for automobile. Get code for automobile, right? And here basically I will have to bring the resource which is under the business. So this is under the business. Sorry, I did something wrong. It should not be under test case folder. Okay, so did I put init file also here? Yes, I think it should not be under. I think it is under robot framework, vehicle insurance. I will delete this one and I will bring this back to my test script. Now my test script at the right place, so I have to include a resource that is under business logic. Business logic slash home page. Yeah, business logic slash home page report. From here I can call the keyword. Under home page you have a keyword called select and vehicle type, and it takes one parameter, and the vehicle type is automobile. Okay, now the selection is done. Once this is selected, right? Once this is selected, next if I press automobile, it goes to a next page, and we will have to verify whether it really has gone to this page or not. Okay, so in order to verify that, so we can capture this ID as selected insurance. I can do this as span slash at ID equals to selected insurance. Let us go and add into the business logic, but it is in the second page. So then I can create a new robot file as per our page object model. Each page should have the separate class in case of Java or C#, but in case of robot framework we will have a separate robot file. I will give the name as, for this I will give a name as the selected insurance. Okay, I will give the name as selected insurance, or I can give the name as enter the vehicle data as well. So I can give the name as enter vehicle data. Enter the vehicle data dot robot. So here again we can use settings, and we will import the library which is Selenium library. Then we can have an variable section here, and the variable is the variable is dollar. We can give the name same, right? Selected insurance. Okay, and this is equal to ID, and under the variable we can also have the test data section. I will add this as a test data. Okay, because the selected insurance, the value for automobile is, if I go here, the value here is automobile insurance. I will capture that. Okay, and for example, if I would have selected truck, selected insurance is a truck insurance. This is how we can differentiate what type of insurance we have selected. Okay, for a time being, let us only do this, and the functionality is what I am going to write is the verify selected insurance type. It also takes one parameter, right? It also takes one parameter, that is, so this should be under keyword, that is why it is showing red. It should be under keywords, and the argument is again the vehicle type, right? Dollar vehicle type. Okay, so we can basically do if statement. If the vehicle type is automobile, if the vehicle type is automobile, then we can do a return text, ret text equals to get text from selected insurance. Sorry, this is not an ID, this is an XPath. Selected insurance from the get text, and should be equal as strings return text with this one. Okay, so after that what we have to do is we will also do, because it may take some time, right, to wait, right? So we can put a wait until the element visible, that is the locator. I think we forgot one more thing. So in order to use conditional based comparison, right, we will have to set an explicit wait. So in the init function we can do that, because this is the place where basically we are opening a browser and maximizing it. So along with that we can also set the waiting strategy, right? We'll go and set it. Now our waiting strategy is ready. Let us go and call this keyword from our script. So we can also use this here. Since we are using it twice, we can also store it them into a variable. But before that, what I have to do is I have to bring enter vehicle into the scope, so that we can resolve the unknown keyword error. And I can also set a variable here, or it is better that I will go to test data section and get it as basic data dot robot, and here I will only add a variable. So I will do // variable. I can put vehicle vehicle type automobile dot value, right, value equals to automobile, because this way maybe we use, maybe this particular variable we will be using throughout the script. That is why I have placed them in a centralized place so that we can reuse them. So but this is unknown now, so again I will have to bring the resource that is at 2 dot test data, that is one folder above this, right? I am in a test script folder. One folder above this is test data. That is why I am using 2 dots test data. Then I'll be using. Okay, so what we have done, we have selected an automobile type, and then we have selected we have also verified whether the selected the insurance type is the automobile insurance or not. Now I'll go and populate the vehicle data in this format, like make BMW, engine speed as engine performance as 1000, number of seats as 7, and etc, and go and press the next button. Okay, so I will do it offline because it will take some time for me to do all these operation, and once the script is ready I will try to explain each and every aspect of the script. In the enter vehicle data dot robot, I have captured the locators of all the elements that are visible in the enter vehicle data page. Okay, and also I have added the test data that I will be using during the automation. For example, I will be selecting the vehicle make as an BMW, engine performance as an 100, then the manufacturing date as 20th November 2019. So I have captured both the locators as well as the test data. Under the utilities, I have added a basic web operation.robot in order to perform certain generic operations. For example, selecting an item in a list. Okay, and we have basically 3 lists within this page. I can use the generic functions to automate them. Only thing what I have to do is I'll have to pass the locator of the make along with the value that I want to select, as well as the how to select the child value, right, using an options. So if you see here, if you see the inspect the make element, this select id make is a parent element under which I have a child element. The selection strategy for this is using the option values. The tag is option. The attribute value will have the value that I will be using for selecting. For example, in case of I want to select BMW as a make, I will have to pass the value as BMW. That is what I am doing. I have created a generic function to select a particular value in a list. What I am doing, I am first going and clicking the parent locator. That is just like going and clicking the parent locator, and after that I will be dynamically creating the locator based on the item value that I am passing. For example, if I pass an item value as BMW, so I will be constructing the locator as / option at value equal to BMW, right, at value equal to BMW. So I have already have this part up to value equal to is stored in a child variable that I am passing it from my script. If you go here, so this is a variable that I am using it for constructing a dynamic locator. Then I will be adding the single quotes, then the text as BMW, right, whatever the text I pass I will be adding it here as an item value. Okay, so after that I will be clicking the particular locator, that is at options / option at value equal to BMW, that will select a child element inside the parent element of the list. This is how I will be selecting an item in a list. Similarly, I have written another function to pass an text to the input box. with the clearing. Whatever the data is already present, it will clear and enter the new data. So it is just I am using the input text, I am passing the attribute clear equal to true. And also I am using another function called keyword as submit the form, which basically go and click the given locator. It's like just clicking the button operation. Since I thought these are all generic functions which can be used across the different pages of the application, I have put it in the utilities page, and under the business logic I have captured all the locators. Along with that, I have also added a functionality to select basically to verify the selected insurance type, whether it is a truck insurance or an automobile insurance or an camper insurance and things like that. Okay, and finally I will be calling all these keywords in a sequence in the script in order to perform the end-to-end journey. So what I will be doing here, side by side, if I put my robot framework, the pie charm, from the home page I will be selecting a vehicle type, that is basically clicking an automobile button. I am passing the value as an automobile value. After this I will be checking the text automobile insurance in order to see that whether after clicking the automobile button whether we have landed in the correct page or not, which is meant for collecting the vehicle data. After that I will be selecting an item in a list, make list. The value I am passing is an vehicle make as an BMW. Then I will be clearing a text and passing a value here. After that I will be populating the date. I am just using it as an input box. I am not using the data picker. I will be passing a string as 11/20/2019. Okay, and after that again I am selecting the number of seats. I am passing the value of 7 here, and again I am selecting a list with the fuel type. I am passing a value as petrol here. Then I am clearing the text and putting an input price as 8,000. I am passing some random the plate number and annual mileage as 20,000. Okay, then after that I will be submitting the form. I have limited the automation to only 2 pages. So because the concept is the same, so you can add as many number as the files under business logic in order to automate the complete end-to-end flow. You can add an X file as an enter insurance data, then enter product data, select a price option and send codes. You can add a different files, and for each files you can populate the locators and the functions that you want to interact with this particular page. Okay, similarly for the enter data, similarly for the price options, and similarly for the send codes. Okay, in this way you can automate the end-to-end journey, but I have limited my automation only for 2 pages. So I just wanted to make you understand how the POM concept basically works in robot framework. I have limited the automation to only 2 pages. So because the concept is the same, so you can add as many number as the files under business logic in order to automate the complete end-to-end flow. You can add an X file as an enter insurance data, then enter product data, select a price option and send codes. You can add a different files, and for each files you can populate the locators and the functions that you want to interact with this particular page. Okay, similarly for the enter data, similarly for the price options and similarly for the send codes. Okay, in this way you can automate the end-to-end journey, but I have limited my automation only for 2 pages. So I just wanted to make you understand how the POM concept basically works in robot framework. We can also add test init and test teardown, which will be running before the execution of each test cases. I will go and add this. Now I have added them. It may be just a dummy where I am printing certain messages. I have added test setup, associated a keyword, perform test setup for that. Similarly for the test teardown, I have associated a keyword, perform test teardown, and I have a body for that. And here I will be writing a message like executing the test case space the test case name. Test case name is an built-in variable, Similarly, concatenating the string test execution for the test name is completed. That I will be printing at the end of the end of the test case once it is done. So I will try to put a breakpoint here, and now let us try to execute this. I will try to put a breakpoint before submitting the form. So otherwise we will lose all the data because it will already going to the next page. Okay, let us try to execute. Let us try to execute as in a debug mode, debug suite. If I go back to the form, you see all the data are filled properly here. So then I will be clicking the next button. And if I click the next button, it has gone to the next page. So now I will continue the execution. Now the execution is completed, and you can go to the log file and see the logs. Let us go physically to this log file. Under my project folder, which is called as a vehicle insurance application, I have a log folder, and there is the log.html file. Let us try to open this in Edge browser, and you see the setup function. We have perform setup operation, and if I put it on the side by side, and the Edge browser, so the execution will always start from the init. This will always start from the init. Under init we have perform setup operation, so it will always start with perform setup operation. That is the first step it will do. So where it will be opening a browser and setting up the waiting strategies, and after that it will go to the test case. When it comes to the test case, this is the first statement that it is going to execute because it is a test setup. If I go into the test case, the first thing it will do is perform the test setup operation. What it has done, it has printed a message telling that executing the test case get code for automobile. The name is get code for automobile. This will be stored in a variable here called test name. Okay. After that it will go and execute all the statements that what we have written here, all the statements one by one, right? It will go and execute all the statement one by one till the submit form. The last statement is submit form. After that it goes to the tear down of the test case. Okay, and if you see the tear down, it is trying to print the message test execution for the test get codes for automobile is completed. I have missed the space. I have missed the space here, so I should have given after the test name, should have given the space here and followed by is completed. Now when I try to execute now, there will be a proper spacing after automobile, and after that it will go back to the setup tear down. Okay, this is a setup tear down, and where it will be closing all the browsers. This is the flow of execution, and also this is the way how we can organize our test case, and we can create a business logic to resemble the page object model. This concept, I hope this concept is clear for you. So you can also go and implement the page object model in your application. I have improvised my script a little bit better, wherein after filling all the details in the enter vehicle data page before submitting a form, I am trying to take a screenshot. This will help me in debugging. Okay, capture screenshot is an custom build keyword. So it is done in the under the utilities. In this keyword, I will be using the Selenium capture page screenshot. But before using this, you will have to set the the place where you want to capture the screenshot using the keyword set screenshot directory. Okay, otherwise the Selenium will try to capture the screenshot under the default folder. The default folder is your output folder, I guess. Yeah, default folder is output folder, but what I am doing here, I am setting a set screenshot directory to output directory slash screenshot. So there will be a folder called screenshot will be created under the output directory. Basically output directory is this directory slash log, under which a folder by name screenshot will be created and all the screenshot will be placed. Always the screenshot will start with the index 1 and it will go 1 2 3 4 like that. Okay, so let us go and execute the script again. I will try to run the suit. Execution is done now. Yeah, now the report is also generated. Let us go to the report directory. Under the log, this is my output directory. There will be a screenshot directory. Under the screenshot directory, I can see it has captured a screenshot that shows all the field data, that is shows all the that basically shows the screen capture of the enter vehicle data before submitting this form, before clicking the next operation, that means before submitting this form. This will give us a bit of debugging information. In case something goes wrong, then we can go to the screenshot and see what really went wrong. That brings to the end of this session. In this session, we focused on how to organize the scripts and keywords more efficiently by using page object model design pattern. By adopting these practices, we will make our script easier to maintain, and also it helps us to enhance their scalability for larger projects. Hope you enjoyed learning with me. In case if you find this video useful, please support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching.